to the jungle. Sandhawk will be match number 3 here of 18 in the grand finals. North side plane all the way up from Mong Nai down towards Bantai on the south side. Again, fairly even cuts behind plane paths so far. They have been getting it done for us. That Northwestern Island a little bit further removed from anything else, but they will be just fine.
Yeah,
to be able to get on over there.
It's been easy enough so far for a lot of these teams. I don't think anyone's really had too many struggles when it comes to drop spots. I think the only one that was really quite difficult was that plane path over on their angle, but even then, there was the capability, the fact that the circle only went fairly central anyway, so most teams could find the position they wanted on the map fairly quickly afterwards. And I think other than that, yeah, it's been happy. I think it's been a very, very fair day, and maybe it's going to take Sandhawk to break that tradition.
Influence came in close by to Alter Egos, who are in turn a little bit in the mix of it with Vampire on that northwestern island. Big wide split for Buradam on the southeast side. DRS and Sami. Wolves taking refuge between them and Geek Fam a little bit further north towards Ruins.
4am towards Cambrava. This is another fair circle, I would say. I think this is a very, very fair circle. This is on probably the one island that is super calm, super chill. You know, you can even take docks rotations up towards that northern side. For anyone who's over towards the northwest, again, there's swimming positions to get in. And because there's so much of the circle still available, you can play around Quarry, saddle your way around the side, and maybe find yourself in towards a position where no one's really playing. So I think for most of the teams here, this is happy days. And Inco, you know, may just be able to find themselves into a good position on the map quite quickly here, John.
See how fast they can get there. Probably quite important to be able to get there speedily, especially given their current location. They'll want to cross that river, but Buradam might be in their way. Might be able to catch a player off, though, on that flip side, so could be good either way. Teams on the northwestern island also looking for their route of egress. You talked about having docks rotations, so potential for them to swing all the way out in those boats. Have to wait and see, though. Time will tell. We're still very early doors.
Very early doors in the game. Still stage 1. Waiting for stage 2 to pop. Inco 47 points. DRS at 31. Not bad a performance from DRS, honestly. You look at the count so far, and 31 is a good clear 10 points ahead of where, you know, a steady performance would be. So I think for DRS and A7, both doing very well. Inco, on the other hand, has just absolutely blasted out of control at the moment. So very, very well done for them. 47 points, almost 25-point average, which is really, really impressive here.
Alpha 7. In Lakawi on the eastern side. Looking to try and grab some vehicles and get on out of there. A little bit more central potentially to try and keep things going, but still very slow and no early engagements here on Sandhawk, and potentially one of the wildest of maps.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. For PMGC, most teams, most players are going to want to take this one smoothly, take it easily. Don't want anything too excessive happening during these games so far. IHC, we're looking for something big, looking for something good. Didn't come to bear though, 9 points. Almost that 4.5 point average. Fortunately for them, not being able to bring things up. I think they did have a good start to the day, but just weren't able to translate that across very well. Alter Egos, I think there's a lot of support here from the crowd, but currently only 3 points found. I do think they've been making the right moves, though. And I think that as a team just coming in here to play with the big boys, I don't think they look out of place here. I think they still have made a marvelous amount of good work, some good rotations, some good positions around the map. And it is just a case of PMGC being very difficult. And again, Alter Egos could step up later today.
Certainly still plenty of opportunity. We've only seen 2 matches played all the way through. We'll be looking for a couple more today. 4 more to still be slated on the cards. There's Alter Egos taking the fight with Influence Kemin, one of the Brazilian teams who have been showing up here so far today. Another couple of shots landing, but no knocks just yet either way. The first scrap over towards the northwestern side of things. Law taken very, very low behind the rock. The forwards position found for Influence Kemin. Lil Boy on the off angle, absolutely lovely, sneaky little angle to be able to find the opening knock in the engagement. Law able to heal up as well, and now Influence Kemin can start to marshal their forces properly. Potato close, isolated as well from the rest of alter egos, and it's going well so far for Influence Kemin. Federal around the side of the rock, looks for the challenge, looks for the spray over towards Potato, has backup from the teammate as well. Will go down first though, and that's far from ideal. Potato spotted as Lil Boy hits the deck and forces his opponent to do the same.
Alter egos, unfortunately, come to bear against a very, very difficult team to play against. Influence Kemin, I think they've been making some very intelligent moves, and the right moves as well, and I think it's only a matter of time before we see Influence Kemin towards that top side with a bunch of points found on a game. Chicken dinner almost certainly during this tournament. Looking at some of these rotations though, Vampire Esports heading over towards Tab Mock. T2K already found their way towards Camp Bravo. 4AM though, I think that Max is 100% right in the sense that, you know, they really did leverage a very good position over Miramar, able to get themselves a lot of points in terms of eliminations. I think if they can play out that similar kind of thing, it just kind of shows how good they are in the lobby, how fantastic they have been in terms of hitting those shots, taking teams to task.
Beautiful shots there, spray down from Squash. They'll be able to open up on towards Buradam. Vitali, though, did get taken down in the meantime, and certainly a powerful player in that previous Miramar game. Looking to try and keep themselves alive, keep themselves going on the south side. And a reposition comes through. Nenabete picks Vitali back up, and they're up to 4 once more.
Again, this was going to be the typical rotation we talked about earlier. The docks rotation for Inco, they made it fairly quickly. This time not opting to go towards the central position of the map, instead taking their time with it, heading towards docks, try and remove Buradam. I don't think they're afraid to take these fights anymore. Currently, they do have some players in position to take shots, but this is going to be a difficult play for both these teams going forward. And again, with this circle that heads further towards the east, Buradam and Inco both have some strong positions to enter.
A lot of those central teams. Inco still with their sights set on My Name P. On foot, spotted out by Squash, but not given the angles, just sneaking away from him. Finally able to open up the cannons. We'll be able to get 1, 2, 3, and there's the last you need. Going to get the knock, but a lot of damage sent back towards Squash. It does result in a flush over towards Buradam, but still maybe a little bit more untidy than you would have liked for the side of Inco. However, they will maintain their lead at the top by quite the significant margin.
Yeah, not a problem for them. Buradam gets away, though, up towards 4AM. We know how good 4AM can be when it comes to holding out teams. That's what we were talking about earlier. Alpha 7 with a central spot. Maybe looking to find themselves a win here. Brazil really looking on fire today on day 1 of the PMGC 2022 Grand Finals. Really nice to see it. And again, I've been saying it the entire year. I think this is the year where we start to see a lot of regions no longer becoming, you know, just dead weights in the water. We see so many different teams, so many different players all performing really well now.
Except for North America.
Well, don't say that, that's me. But also...
Look at a 7 over there.
Yeah.
No, even, to be fair, even North America have had their moments. And we can't really talk coming from the UK. We haven't had the greatest of success.
We don't have anyone from the UK, so we are... We're definitely the worst in that sense. We need some players. We need some boys.
Yeah, absolutely.
It would be nice.
Need to step it up.
But in the meantime, I'm happy to support all these teams within this lobby in PMGC 2022. Everyone that's made it this far. All the players who fell along the way. Did so much to get here in the first place. Again, there's been some great storylines throughout the entirety of the group stages. Some teams really pushing it to the absolute limit to get towards this position. Knocking out teams that maybe everyone thought would be in the grand finals right at that last second. And I think, you know, one of those teams is Inco, and the fact that they've been able to come in today swinging is really nice because, you know, it's a team that knocked out Titans, HVP. You're like, maybe that last game was somewhat lucky, and also the fact that they had the exact amount of eliminations that they needed And they had to perform here in the grand final, so it wasn't just, you know, a lost cause, and they have. So again, you respect the fact that they have been training in the background to get to this point, to get to this level where they perform on the grand final stage.
YHC have spotted Ravenclaw. Godless wants to line it up, opens, but Ravenclaw immediately repositions. Two players not quite able to get that team spray down. And Vampire now aware of the position to their threat on their western side. Godless looking in through those doors, peeking in, but not really taking any challenges just yet. Both teams on that northern side will start to skirt down that coast as quick as they decide to. Fireflux in the midst of it amongst the central cluster on the northern side of things, with S2G out to their northern edge. 5th place right now for S2G, 19 points. They've had some good runs so far today. I feel like this is a team that most teams should be worried about.
Yeah, I think Fireflux too, but they really haven't shown us that big amount of firepower as of yet. Those team fights that we expect from Fireflux, I think playing on the edge at the moment isn't really helping them very much. There's a lot of these teams are already dead center on a central type gameplay. So I think for them heading in from the edge, already so many positions within the circle are taken up. So very, very, very frequently we are seeing Fireflux immediately get taken down. So this time around, they are hovering towards that line on the circle, which I think is a much better idea. It's still technically edge, but it's not what they were doing before, which was right on the edge of the blue instead.
Wolves, again, not the best of days so far. 1 point total, and they've just lost 3 of their players. Only Memory now left standing, and Inko, to be fair, I think this is the second time that they've taken the fight with this team and been able to win it on out. Really good result for them. Order up the top as well, spotted by Stalwart. As Nenebete cruises on through with the auto shotgun. Memory on the menu now. Needs to keep it together.
Oh my.
Will be able to do so. Nenebete shuts that one down faster than anything. 16th place, and Wolves drop down to the bottom of the tables.
I mean, Seven was saying they need to pick something up, and so was Max, in fact, and they just really haven't. I think for Wolves, that adaptation is not coming through as of yet.
Ooh. Paraboy looking to light them up here against Stalwart. Scry makes it across, and Paraboy just wants to slow things down in the smoke train there. Scry forced to reposition, forced to get up. And the nade's not quite finding it. Looking to be able to get a heal through as well. Has to reposition. Can't quite find the respite he was looking for. The rest of Stalwart fall back and do manage to get their full heals off. Action now across the way. Scry finally knocked, as Action now can be that linchpin, that forward position for them, but needs to leverage properly. Action half HP. Fireflux aren't too far away. Potential to third party in the engagement, but the nades from Action need to be on point. He's only got one, however, as King has fallen for Nova in the back. Needs to hold this line on the wall. Paraboy will spot the player crawling out, and Action shut down.
Paraboy predicted that entire rotation coming through from Stalwart. He even looks for another. Really, really on the money there was Paraboy. Not a single movement or tactic was missed from him. Keeping the rest of his boys in check there. It's over towards that western side. I think for Stalwart it's going to be incredibly difficult now for them to be able to get through. There it is, they're out 15th.
17 points so far on the day. So close in on their halfway mark for their matches that they will have played on the first day of proceedings. Buradam, they started on this eastern side near Lakawi. They've shunted a little bit further down towards Kampong, and now they're guarding out DRS, who have tried to swim all the way through from docks. And it's really not going their way. Killer flushed out. Kengzo picks up a point. Delta at the back. Rules really close to this cliff face now. I don't know if Kengzo knows about this player forwards, but might have a little bit of an inkling in a minute or two when he doesn't see any more of DRS towards the back. And you can see he's already scouting that one. Paraboy spotted. Fireflux are into this fight. I said they were close by to the engagement, and now they're starting to look to pick it up, but that's actually Geekfam to steal that one away. You can see them just a little bit further away on the top of that hill, on the back foot there. And Nova caught between Fireflux and Geekfam. It's really, really sticky here. Order falls, and now it's just Jimmy remaining with the Tommy gun.
Indeed it is. Jimmy from Nova looking for a little bit more here. Obviously, Fireflux played a little bit further towards this edge side. towards the circle itself. They found themselves a position, and that's Nova out. 4 eliminations so far found.
That is not quite the performance they were looking for, but Geek found 5 eliminations now on the game. All 4 of them alive. They can turn their attention to Fireflux. DRS are out. That's the second place team on the overall standings right now. And Alpha 7 with a chance to leapfrog. They are currently tied with DRS, and the chicken dinner is the tiebreaker between them. So now Alpha 7 can start to try and open up a little bit of a lead against them as they perform further into this game. Ketch, the forward position for Fireflux in the engagement with Geek Fam, has been knocked. And Solus, in the meantime, by U-High, spotted out and dispatched. Solke, another casualty now in the engagement as Alpha 7 chime in.
Alpha 7 looking really good on this match to take some big numbers home for themselves. 2 eliminations so far. S2G above them. This is the difficulty, though. This is a strong team from Turkey looking to leapfrog, take over this position. Inco biding their time down towards that southern side, and it's the east edge that looks absolutely treacherous, dangerous as anything. But at them, 4am, T2K, Vampire Esports and IHC still battling out for a position on this edge.
Schweppes cuts down Demo as he tries to leave the beach. Will not be able to go any further as he picks up the point for it. Vampire surviving with 1 now. Just Schweppes, but the blue zone is there. T2K not having a successful cross. Schweppes may be a position that is unknown for the rest of the teams further into the circle. See if he can get a little bit further, but T2K might be on the lookout for him. Geek Fam take a knock as they start to move in towards this next part of the circle, but Alpha 7's position is nigh on unassailable, Blank.
Yeah, this is the walls that will just slow you down. A lot of this is going to be fighting more against the compound than it is fighting against Alpha 7. That's the difficulty. Inco, though, will send themselves directly into this engagement. Creo, Mafioso, all looking up towards that northern side. And Inco, just a quick rotate, a quick scout, get the bearings, find out what's going on. And I think right now, though, Alpha 7 is completely preoccupied with that northern side.
They've spotted S2G, and they're taking shots out that way as well. Rig forcing S2G to move along that close side of the hill, which forces them to take the fight with Alpha 7, which allows Inco to move on through. It's all swings and roundabouts. It's all impacting one another. And Geek Fam cannot quite win out that challenge. Pombet stays alive for the home team. And top 8 for them.
Pombet looking for at least 1 more here. Geek. It's going to be unlikely they'll be taken down, but at least 1 is found there. Pombet might not have found themselves the flush, but it is something.
Ooh. A nade comes on through, and 2 for Revo. A double knock over towards Inco. You said they weren't paying attention to the south. Maybe they don't need to now, because Revo's on the job. Absolutely blasts them to pieces. Taken in half now, decimated. And now it's a 1-2 Brazil table, with Alpha 7 racking up the points. Finally, Alter Ego eliminated. 8th place now. 7 teams remain. 21 players. 4 players alive on both 4 Angry Men and S2G.
Grinko, Nenebete Vitali. That is the last thing you want is Revo. When he looks so good, his nades are just completely spectacular. Very hard to take him off that kind of streak. I remember getting him the 4K grenade over in the group stage in that last chance that just sent them right straight through to the grand finals. Just looked phenomenal at the time. And again, Alpha 7 will not be leaving this compound. Geek Fam, S2G, T2K, Inco, 4am all have a very, very difficult road ahead of them, but it all ends in Alpha 7.
Geek Fam with 10 eliminations so far. Going into this game with 1 point, this is what you wanted to see. Especially on Sandhawk, it is that wildcard map. Rack those performances up if you can get them. 4 Angry Men. 6 eliminations of their own. And we'll play on with 3 from the south side, near to the duo remaining from Inco, as Geek now have a building in the circle.
Actually get up there. Barivo's already sent the God Nade over towards this position before. He's had practice. He's ready to do it again. Micah wants nothing to do with it. Revo sends a couple of sprays on towards that position. 4am maybe he's going to take this opportunity as MWWX actually finds Vitali in the back. This is really good there for 4am.
Mafioso doesn't get knocked. A really important factor there for Alpha 7's hold, especially against S2G as Silas gets spotted, but there's an AWM in play. It's C's Hamzy. and claps him, but unfortunately it's just not enough. There's not that many barrels on it. There's only the one, and Alpha 7 will just shut them out of the circle.
Alpha 7 not taking any chances here. They know they wanted a big game to compete with Inco, but Inco already find themselves up towards that top 6 is really still good news, and 5 eliminations found for themselves. Still going well. Alpha 7 on the other hand, 8 eliminations, 4 alive, almost certainly a chicken dinner. Getting a few more eliminations on this game would be great to send them towards that top standing.
Certainly would. At the start of the game, the gap was 18 points between Alpha 7 and Inco. 3 of those points have been closed, so they would need a whole heap more, but you've got to start somewhere. A nade in from Carrillo into the inside of the building, but Yuhai already repositions towards the outside. Nenebete falls. That's the last down from Inco. 6th place, 5 elims. Again, solid result. 1st, 2nd, 5th. Excellent, excellent start to their day. What a 3 games they've had. Alpha 7 lose their first player in this situation. Carrillo does get knocked now. Revo looking to go for the res as Geek Fam move in.
Geek Fam, Yuhai and Micah. 49 elims total for Yuhai, 48 elims total for Micah. Over towards their particular group, in which case they put up a massive 292 points together with the rest of their team. This is the dream duo that you would want together for Geek Fam to try and finish this out.
With the changes that were implemented onto Sandhawk circles, the damage is too great to out-heal, which is why we've only got 3 teams remaining now in Zone 8. 4 Angry Men under pressure. Geek Fam going down as well. Alpha 7 start to ramp up for their final shout. 3rd place with 11 eliminations for the Malaysian squad. Geek Fam are doing so well in this Sandhawk game, and they definitely needed it. However, Alpha 7, the bell of the ball now. 2 players up and kicking as they flush out 1 and find another knock over towards 4 Angry Men. Just Svan left standing between them and the chicken dinner with 13 eliminations. They snap it on up, and it's a Brazilian back-to-back.
That seemed absolutely easy there for them. Really well done to Alpha 7. I mean, they picked up a very strong compound. The circle kept coming over towards them. Revo was very quick to deal with